He's terrified of cities because he thinks Antifa is going to attack him. Molly told the Daily Beast. You don't understand. You have to understand this. Antifa wants to kill me. This is going to be interesting. We've talked about Tim Pool a lot on this show. We've done a lot of specials on Tim Pool. We've, of course, had both Vadim on the show numerous times to talk about his amazing Tim Pool documentaries. Myself, the Serfs, I've made a Tim Pool documentary as well. You can check it out at youtube.com/theserfstv, What Lies Underneath Tim Pool's Beanie. And perhaps we'll play a small sampling of that today. But I also want to explore this because Tim Pool apparently is talking about how Steven Crowder just got suspended again. The musician canceled for praising Andy No censorship is getting worse. Let's see what he has to say.
Crowder has announced on Instagram that he will not be having a show this morning as he crosses some T's and dots some I's pertaining to legal issues having to do with Twitter. Because Steven Crowder was suspended for 7 days from Twitter, so he can't tweet, he can't retweet, he can't like. And they did not give him a reason. On Instagram, we can see this from Steven Crowder. We've temporarily limited some of your account features. He says, no Louder with Crowder show this morning so that we can cross some T's, dot some I's. We're working on a major legal update. Hint, it's Twitter. And we'll have half Asian lawyer Bill Richmond on tomorrow for a barely legal update. As we can see here, we have the standard Twitter suspension message. And then he posts this. It says, wow. Hi, Steven Crowder. Your account S Crowder has been locked. Sorry, I can't say, it's hard to see the C. For violating the Twitter rules, specifically for, and there's nothing there. We have the story from The Blaze.
From The Blaze, great. Oh yeah, journalistic integrity at its finest, The Blaze. Steven Crowder has flirted for so long with seeing what he can get away with in just the most like, ain't I a stinker kind of way, like in the most asshole-ish, like what a fucking, oh, he's such a piece of shit. And, you know, on International Women's Day, started tweeting out a whole bunch of old 5-year-old sketches of him just being an absolute transphobe and a huge piece of shit. And I think he'd just been flirting with it so long that someone was finally like, you know what, fuck this motherfucker. We're not going to make a big thing out of this because we know if we do, it's exactly what he wants. He's just looking for that moment. You know, he's always like, hey, I'm going to use your platform to sell outright bigotry. You know, how about this shirt? It says socialism is for figs. Get it? Wink. It's for figs. It's funny. It's funny because it's pretty aggressively homophobic. But anyways, can we sell it on your platform? Is that cool with you? Is that cool with you? Anyways, the reason I'm bringing this all up right now is because there's another story. There's a story in the background, and I knew Tim would have a couple things to say about censorship and about suspensions and you know, it's the cancel culture. It's the culture wars, ISIS, 9/11, you know, all that stuff. But there was a new article that came out today that had my interest. And I am, chat, I'm going to read this in its entirety because I think this is important, all right? This is a historical moment. YouTube star Tim Pool's news site collapses amid allegations he took a cat hostage. Are you kidding me? Tim Pool's disgruntled ex-partners say he used the cat as a bargaining chip in an ugly business negotiation. Pool says he's innocent. All is not well in the burgeoning media empire of YouTube political commentator Tim Pool. Amid an acrimonious falling out over who controls the future of a digital news site that Pool helped launch, the YouTube star is facing accusations from former partners that he used the cat named Betsy as a hostage in business negotiations, only handing the pet over after the police were called. He was using to use my cat as leverage, said Emily Molly, Betsy's owner and former Pool business partner. Pool says he never had custody of the cat, whose return to Molly was eventually arranged to an animal shelter and Maryland Sheriff's lieutenant. When he's not facing cat-related accusations, Pool's living the life of a YouTube star. His videos, based on Pool's background as a liberal reporter who became a Trump voter after feeling alienated from the modern left, have amassed more than 1.1 billion cumulative views. He has a $1 million mansion in the Maryland woods, complete with a podcast studio and a skate park. Donald Trump invited him to the White House. Pool's business has boomed, even as he faces accusations that he's a major vector for the far-right disinformation. Sorry, I gave you some disinformation in my mispronunciation of that. A recent report from a consortium of election integrity groups listed Pool alongside the likes of Donald Trump Jr. and pro-Trump lawyer Sidney Powell as a super spreader for false election information, and information, if I'm being totally frank. I think he does spread false information. That doesn't appear to dissuade the more than 3 million YouTube subscribers who pay $21.99. Oh, who can pay? I was like, what? They all subscribe? No, for a t-shirt bearing the image of Poole's trademark beanie. The allegations that Poole used the cat as a bargaining chip in a business dispute go far beyond the fate of Betsy, who is now back with Molly in Los Angeles. The fracas sheds new light on how Poole and his co-founders failed to launch a news site amid infighting despite more than $1 million in crowdfunding backing. This is directly to Tim Poole's brother. I don't know if you remember that controversy, but I tried to get Tim Poole's brother on the show. Tim Poole's brother, unfortunately, Chris Poole, doesn't follow us anymore. He was getting a little frustrated with the amount of far leftist tweets we made. But he also didn't want to come on the show at first, not because he didn't like me, because at the time he didn't really know much about the broadcast, but because, again, he was trying to save what he said publicly about this for court. And now we're starting to see the ramifications of his lawsuit coming to light. This year was supposed to be the time the Poole's news company approached 50 staffers and opened satellite offices in Los Angeles and Chicago. What? 50 staffers? Holy shit. He's a goddamn empire. According to a pitch deck shown to investors. Instead, Poole's wondered whether his site even exists anymore as a growing concern. In May 2019, Poole, Molly, and a third co-founder launched Subverse, a news site YouTube channel news footage service. The site raised more than $1 million. It's Chris Poole. That's interesting. I have the inside scoop on this. The site raised more than $1 million on a crowdfunding platform, WeFunder, with a buzzword-heavy pitch that promised to create a decentralized news network boosted by Poole's massive social media following and background reporting on protest movements like Occupy Wall Street. Molly worked for Subverse as chief content officer, where she was billed as the queen of content. In May 2020, Poole brought in Rocco Castoro, a former vice editor-in-chief who once journeyed to Guatemala to meet fugitive cybersecurity baron John McAfee to run the site's editorial business operations. Subversive's name was changed to SCNR and pronounced Scanner for several reasons. There's a porn game called Subverse, so you can't really compete with porn on SEO, Castoro explained recently to the Daily Beast. Castoro and Molly imbued the Scanner with trash-talking pirate ethos of the early Vice. In a November update to Scanner's backers, the spare promised to yank what you thought was straight out of your nose like a two-comment brain. They told backers unhappy with the lack of the YouTube videos that YouTube sucks a fat one and advised them not to complain directly through the crowdfunding site like a ding-dong. In a response to questions about why Poole appeared to have a diminished role in the site, Castoro and Molly told Poole fans to email their glorious leader. Say a little prayer. Maybe he'll see it, they wrote. As they traveled the country last year with Castoro to produce videos for Scanner, Molly put her cat in the care of Ian Crossland, one of Poole's co-hosts. Uh-oh. Moonlord. Moonlord was implicated. You know what's funny is when the story originally broke, they showed me that photo, and it was an incriminating photo of Moonlord holding the cat. What have you done, Moonlord? What have you done? Huh. Tensions between Poole and his other partners flared, and this follower who had access to various internal systems connected to Subverse. Castoro and Molly took unusual steps of instigating Tim Poole themselves, with Castoro claiming he found evidence that Poole was involved in unsavory internet schemes. What, like, more unsavory than him selling those buckets? Those sludge buckets? The slop? I mean, that's pretty unsavory. A slop looks like fucking gruel. The Daily Beast was unable to identify or independently confirm Castoro's allegations, and Poole declined to comment on the allegations made by Castoro and Molly that didn't relate to the cat, citing ongoing legal issues. That fall and winter, a number of far-right figures appeared at Poole's Maryland mansion to appear on his radio internet show as Donald Trump fought the election defeat. They included InfoWars conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, who helped fund the pro-Trump rally that preceded the January 6th riot, the Proud Boys chairman Enrique Tarrio, FBI informer, rat. Tarrio is now facing felony charges for unlicensed possession of a gun magazine in Washington, D.C., head of the riot. Don't worry, he'll sell out. He'll rat for that too. Castoro began posting cryptically about his investigations into Poole on Twitter, taunting Poole, who's ostensibly still his business partner. The fight climaxed on January 6th as Molly prepared to cover protests outside of the U.S. Capitol. As Molly filmed the protests that would soon culminate in a riot, Castoro in Los Angeles, increasingly alienated from Poole, tweeted a cryptic message he now claims would prove that he was aware of some schemes of Poole's. It's difficult to discern the meaning of Castoro's tweet, but it consists of screenshots of IP logs and domain names. Still, the tweet set off Poole, who could apparently understand exactly what Castoro meant. Rocco is posting insane shit and private details, Poole wrote in a text message to Molly. As the riot began, Poole demanded in a voicemail that Molly return to his home in Maryland immediately. "You need to call me back right now!" A person whose voice closely resembles Poole said in the message, which was shared with the Daily Beast. "I don't know what you did, but this is beyond serious." Poole continued, without naming exactly what he was angry about. "I don't know what's going on, other than what the fuck did you do?" Poole said. "You need to call me back right now. This one's on you. Whatever ends up happening, I had nothing to do with this." Asked to explain the voicemail, Poole wrote in an email to the Daily Beast that it pertains to an internal corporate legal dispute. Well, I'm sure it's a lot more correct. That pertains to an internal corporate legal dispute. Nothing to see here. Much more information on this will be made public in the coming weeks, Poole told the Daily Beast. So Poole's prepping right now. He's going to do one of those big Destiny-esque, you know, like when he releases the manifestos. It's going to be one of those. It's going to look to the camera. Moon Lord won't be there. He'll be on the leash that day. You know, he has to chill out for a little while. He's been a little too excitable. So it'll be Tim Poole facing the camera and just going through all the evidence, breaking everything down. In a labor complaint filed in California, Castoro alleges that Poole made irrational and angry threats and demands, demanding that Molly give him footage. Molly shot at the riot. Castoro told the Daily Beast that Molly shot the footage during the riot of several Poole associates, including Jones. We can only assume he did not want something specifically that was happening at the Capitol to be filmed by Emily that day, Castoro writes in labor complaint. Poole removed Castoro and Molly's access to Scanner's YouTube channel on January 6. A day later, Poole officially fired Castoro and Molly, setting off a dispute over who controls what's left of Scanner and who has equity in the company. So, to summarize, in case any of you don't know this or haven't been following so far, Tim Poole, and I remember when he did this, posted publicly in like one of those crowdfunding-esque investor things that he was launching a brand new type of social media, kind of like a YouTube, but it was going to be exclusively for his kind of content, aka what they're saying is Scanner, and it was going to be no more corporate, like you're not going to have the mainstream corporate media controlling and dominating the conversation. This is going to be unfiltered, uncensored. It's going to be coming directly to the people who want it, and it's not going to be, you know, controlled by any one political ideology, all this kind of shit. And within a matter of a month, it went up by like millions of dollars in funding. And I was thinking like, holy shit, the grift is so profitable for right-wingers. And some of the average donation wasn't small. It wasn't like, you know, millions of people pulling like $1 donations together. These were significant small donations all at once. Anyways, what do? They take the money. They found Scanner. They fucking launched it as a YouTube channel. And you can say we're doing this first YouTube channel, then it launches as its own independent thing. But it's free to do the YouTube channel part. And technically you are still running a media empire. You don't have to pay for servers. You don't have to pay for any of that. You know, it can get really expensive to have hosting and to have files and shares and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't going to his house because he was going to try and take my footage, Molly said. The growing rift between Scanner's executives was bad news for Betsy the cat, who was still living in Poole's Maryland mansion. Molly said Crossland claimed to be unable to help her regain custody of her cat, providing text messages supposedly from Crossland that appeared to show him suggesting that Poole, not he, has control over the cat's fate. I can't get involved with Betsy. You will have to run everything by Tim, Crossland allegedly wrote to Molly. She is in good hands until you take her. Crossland didn't respond for a comment. Molly said she was reluctant to send anyone to Poole's mansion, which looms large over the imaginations of Poole's former partners. In a recording of a 2020 meeting obtained by the Daily Beast, Poole discusses owning multiple guns and abandoning urban life after living in New York City and deciding that he was getting the fuck out of cities after sensing the potential for unspecified escalation. He's terrified of cities because he thinks Antifa is going to attack him. Molly told the Daily Beast. You don't understand. You have to understand this. Antifa wants to kill me. Now we know this to be true because we've seen this. Andy Knows documented this extensively. I'm not going to be showing you once again one of his tweets that shows Antifa at their very worst. Like, do you think they're fucking burning effigies of you, Poole? Like, the revolution will only begin when we destroy the fucking class traitor, Tim Poole. I live in the DC area, the political hotspot, and I'm not worried about Antifa, Poole said. To the extent your questions involves a cat or a pet, I can affirmatively set forth that I'm not representing anyone regarding a cat or pet, Poole's lawyer, Wiley Stecklow, wrote in February 26 email to Molly and Castoro. I mean, that's a very, odd way of putting it. You could just say in no way, shape, or form is Tim Poole involved in this. That's a little more ambiguous than you would want. Molly was also reluctant to send anyone in her place to Poole's estate. Tim freaks a lot of people out. I love this. I love learning for the first time what's going on behind the curtain, behind the scenes. And he actually fucking freaks people out. Tim freaks a lot of people out. And telling people that you have to go to Tim's compound in the middle of Maryland freaks people out, Molly said. No shit. And that's kind of like one of his ace cards, like when he was like, no, I'll totally debate the left. I'm willing to have any debate with any leftists. I'm not afraid. Bring them on. And then like everyone responded. I responded. Hassan responded. Fucking Sam Cedar responded. We're all like, yes, time and place, Tim. You name it. Yeah, anytime. I would love to debate you. And I was like, no, I mean on my compound. You have to come to my compound in person right now during the pandemic when there's also a lockdown between Canada and the US. And everyone's like, well, what the fuck? You have the means. You do online streams. You've done them. You did one with Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro. Well, hey, Freudian slip. Ben Shapiro. Days afterwards, he did one with that. Days afterwards, he made Vosh have to fly into his compound because Vosh was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll come. Same thing with Destiny. They were both like, yeah, fuck it, I'll come down. I don't care, Pool. And then you're out of excuses. When Molly tried to get her cat back by sending Pool an email offering to send people to pick them up at the house anyway and pay for veterinarian visits so the cat could be cleared to fly on an airplane, Pool referred her to his lawyer. Any correspondence must go through our attorney, Pool wrote on February 22nd. Please contact them. I will not reply to further emails. But Wiley Stecklow, a lawyer who had been asked to untangle the fight over Scanner's future, told Molly he wasn't handling the increasingly elaborate cat exchange. To the extent your question involves a cat or pet, I can affirmly set forth that I'm not representing anyone regarding a cat or a pet, Steckler wrote February 22nd in an email to Molly and Castoro. Clients, like cats, come in all stripes, Steckler told the Daily Beast. I do not represent any cat as I do not have any requisite experience to represent cats. They're not asking if you're a cat lawyer. They're asking if you can negotiate the exchange between the cat, the feline, and its owner, because it's being held hostage at Tim Pool's place. They're not asking if you are, again, a pussy lawyer. Molly eventually called the sheriff's department in Washington County, Maryland, whose jurisdiction includes Pool's house. While the case wasn't a straightforward theft case, since Crossland had legally taken custody of the cat from Molly, Washington County Lieutenant Joshua McCauley tried to settle the dispute. He talked to someone who identified himself as Pool in an attempt to get the cat back. While the cat was there, communications with the parties broke down because of some ongoing criminal and civil matter between them, McCauley told the Daily Beast. Mr. Poole was reluctant to have any contact because of that, so he stated that he didn't really want to give the cat back. He didn't want the cat, but he didn't really want to know what to do, or how to do it without having contact. Rock on a hard place. The sheriff's lieutenant recommended that Poole drop the cat at an animal shelter where one of Molly's friends could pick him up in an arrangement that would prevent the cat from entering the shelter general adoption system or being put down. After a few days, the exchange took place and one of Molly's friends flew the cat to Los Angeles. Poole insisted he never had custody of the cat. The cat was never transferred to me. Emily left it with Ian, and she was oh man, Poole is fully throwing Ian Crossland under the bus. Fully. That shows you how loyal he is. It wasn't me. 'Twasn't me who had the cat. 'Twas Moonlord. 'Twas Moonlord all along. Yes, that's right. This is like, does he think it's going to end in some kind of a Scooby-Doo scene? Where it's all of a sudden like, they lift the mask at Tim Pool and then Moonlord is underneath? My God, it was you the whole time. Well, Molly's friends celebrate the cat's safe return by releasing a video under the banner of The Bobo, a play on real animal news website The Dodo. In the place of the extinct bird, there's a bogus site's logo featured a rat wearing Pool's trademark gray beanie. Interesting. This is the one we watched. Let's rewatch it again. Let's relive it. Depositing a new message. Hi, this message is for Emily. This is with the Washington County Sheriff's Office. I just given you a call back to let you know that I attempted to call Mr. Poole several times. He's not answering. I did leave a message. If he calls me back tonight, I will certainly advise him and then call you back. Otherwise, you're gonna have to go through the district court via the writ of, after multiple attempts to arrange her pickup, Betsy's mom had to call the sheriff's office. Several days later, Betsy was surrendered to a shelter without any of her stuff. Surrendered to a shelter. Damn, Tim. What you gone done there? Or sorry, Moonlord. Tim's gonna blame this one on Moonlord now.
He was the greatest girl.
He's the terror, CIA, cat interception agency.
Got a very important pussy here.
Why did you reveal your face, cat collector? Oh.
Well, that's oh yeah, I'm on a different browser. That's a beautiful, happy ending to a story, but we haven't heard the end quite yet. Oh, we have. The fight over Scanner remains unresolved, with the prospect of future conflict between its executives looming. On Tuesday, Castorial claimed yet again he has no proof of Pool's perfidy. It's not clear who actually owns the site. For the cat, though, the saga is over. She's happy, Molly said. She's happy. Weird and wild stuff, to say the least. And not a great look for Tim. Really bad look for Tim. In an ongoing dispute, it makes him look unhinged. It makes his work environment look unsafe. It makes him look weird as all hell. And he did break the cardinal rule. And the rule that everyone here knows, right? It's you don't fuck with cats. There's a lot of things you can do on the internet, but one of the things you don't do is you don't fuck with cats. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Can you do the thing, you know, that thumbs up and comment and all those things that help us out in the algorithm that controls every aspect of our lives? Also, if you happen to have a Facebook account, can you delete it? Like, just delete it. You should probably delete your Facebook account because it's not a great company. But hey, if you can't do that for whatever reason, I understand. And could you also go to facebook.com/thesurftimes then and give us a little like and a follow. We're just trying to push back against the fact that people like Ben Shapiro happen to dominate the platform entirely. And when everyone asks why do older generations believe the things they believe, one of the problems is the majority of them on social media use Facebook. So to counter that, we're just going to be on there too now. Also, if you happen to have a union or a worker co-op or even a leftist project podcast, website, Zoom, MySpace, it doesn't matter. We will advertise it for free on this channel. All you got to do is go to weareserfs.com and use the forms that we got there, weareserfs.com. Thanks, everybody.
To our glorious gods, Xander Corvus and I'm Wrath, may you shower us with glory and smite our enemies. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we serve at your leisure, your grace. To our lords, Toefox, Bisexual Black Gamer, Jimothy K. Meeble Beeps Jr., Ryan Lubin, Trevor R., Jeffrey Lamb, Alexander Thaler, and Hans Josephine, we shall carry your banner high into the fields of battle. To our Knights of the Round Table, Timothy Hart, Trevor Janis, Lemmy 101, Anthropophagic, Saren 42, Chronic de Hemphog, Gail Kotka, The Great Pudini, Bone Jenny, Catherine, Radical Maniac, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, J. Fraser Cartwright, Thomas Barrington, Jimmy Bignuts, Violent Orchard, Sophie Baby, Political Puppy, Andreas Chitoro, Goofalankius, Zach Christensen, Nicholas Marks, Yopi, Josh Mickelson, Melissa Murphy, Todd Buckingham, Todd Lajeunesse, Constance Joyce Lacheris. We lift our glasses of ale and we salute you.